Yo, what's happening, everybody? Happy Sunday fun day. This is Rich Taylor, aka Dollar, Spec Media YouTube channel and Facebook Live, along with a little bit of Periscope. Shout out to my Twitter people. Today, we are going to just have a fun live stream, go over some Xmen97 animation news and updates, along with a few Miles books that I don't know. I think are pretty cheap right now, and with how good Spider-Verse was this weekend, I think they could have a little bit of profit margin to be had long term, especially with the live action stuff coming out, because that's what we're going to focus on is the live action stuff. So if you can, do me a favor and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Like this. Give me a thumbs up, please. I appreciate it. It helps me with the algorithm. If you have anything to say, positive or negative, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Let's chop it up. I will address anything that annoys you, to a certain extent. And anything you like, I will definitely, thank you for that. And if you share this content, make sure you tag Spec Media with 2 S's, like super short print, SSPEC Media, one word. Appreciate you guys. Let's go. Before we get into it, make sure your next Gemini comic supply order, you use the code popcorn99. You'll get 10% off your next purchase. Appreciate that. All right. All right, guys. How you doing? Let's go ahead and hit the chat before we get into it. Righteous Flipper is here. He says, in the ever-changing comic book market, get speculations and predictions to keep yourself informed about the hobby of comic book collecting. I don't just follow Dollar. I and Dollar we trust. Huzzah! Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm not sure if I deserve all that, but that is really, really appreciated. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ronnie, what's going on, my man? He says, hey, buddy. Ronnie, he changed his tag to Ronnie and Rascal the Super Dog. Hey, buddy. I think he changed it. I mean, I don't remember the Rascal the Super Dog, but if you've always had it on there, my bad. That's actually pretty cool. I've never really noticed that. Probably because I'm like super nervous all the time. But thank you. I appreciate that. Sith Rule, aka, how do I say you have another screen name, right? Besides Sith Rule, I thought there was another one, but yep, in Dollar we trust. I still owe you a book. I have I don't know if you guys know, but let's see, the Cosmic One, aka Articulate, or I don't know, something like that of comics, is Joe. And I still have his giveaway. I haven't dropped it off yet. I did say he could punch me in the face live. Yes, he could do that. You can do that. You can punch me in the face live. But yeah, I got to send you your book as soon as this licensing stuff is done and I get my answer, depending on what state it is. Everything's going out. I just, any second that I have that's not, creating content, trying to build the channel, I'm doing that. So that is why we are on a partial delay, but you guys are getting your books guaranteed 100%, swearing everything. Southpaw Brad, what's up, man? He's a finance guy like me. I'm not sure if he's an economics guy, like a business, or if he's in finance like me, like with real estate finance. If he's in loans with cars or what have you, I'm not sure, but he's very, very sharp when it comes to, numbers. He says, what's up, Dollar? Jersey to the Bay. What's up, man? He says, yo, just got out of Miles. Amazing. Okay, cool. I don't care if you guys spoil it for me, but for people in the chat that haven't, because I haven't seen it yet. I was going to go today, but I forgot about the live stream, so I canceled the tickets. But people in the chat haven't seen it and they're waiting, so let's just try your best not to spoil it. I really appreciate it. But yeah, keep the comments coming about the movie. Tell me what you did or did not like it with a non-spoiler kind of comment. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jersey. That just tells me I need to get going here. Southpaw Brad says, thank you for the wrench. Okay, there's a couple people that I promised a wrench. I still haven't gave you the wrench yet, so let me know in my comments or DM me on IG. I will get you the wrench. Ronnie and the Rascal says, changed it when he got attacked. Okay, gotcha. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, we were in that group, and you told me about it, and then we were DMing, and you told me about your dog, and that's when you had to cancel on the live stream. I remember. I hope he's okay. The only dollar that has value. There's my boy right there, Jesse. Guys, this is Jesse right here. He has a YouTube channel. He's on other platforms as well, but YouTube's his main one. JLS Comics. It's it's separated. JLS Comics YouTube. If you guys don't have the time to read, I know a lot of you guys don't have time to read. I read pretty much everything I buy, but sometimes I'm late doing it. But if you don't have time to read comics, this guy Jesse, his YouTube channel is probably is the #1 channel on YouTube for comic book origins and stories, first appearance origins, or what have you. He goes through it just like unbelievable. He's one of the guys, along with Brian and a few others, that inspired me to do my own channel. So make sure you're subbed up to JLS Comics. He's a good friend, and he is an unbelievable content creator and comic book enthusiast. His knowledge is grade AAA. Sith Rule says, nope, just Sith Rule. Okay, cool. There's another guy, I think his name is Volky or whatever, Volcy. I think some people, including me, I thought it was your like alt name or second name, but I think he's on his own. So, okay, that's good to know. Okay, Southpaw Brad is a real estate agent. Okay, cool. So I work in real estate and finance. He works in he sells houses. So maybe according to my license, we're not supposed to be referring without proper disclosures, but yeah, we'll get into that at another time. Patrick, what's up, man? You gonna remind me about the $50 I owe you? It's okay, you don't have to. I went ahead and went into the fantasy football, one of our fantasy football leagues. I think it was like PL, and then I just went ahead for the dues, and then I have you at $50 owed. So instead of 100, and I've already gotten a couple payments for this season. So yeah, if you need the money right away, just let me know. I'll change that back and I'll PayPal you. But if you're playing in PL, then you're only paying half. Need a wrench? Okay, Ronnie, I'll get you a wrench right after. Southpaw Brad, there it is. Thank you, Southpaw Brad. Yes, he's one of my moderators. Appreciate that. JLS says, wow, that's high praise. Thanks, brother. Hey, man, I'm not trying to compliment you, bro. I mean, you're my friend and I'd love to do it, but I'm just speaking facts, man. Just speaking facts. You're the real deal. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's first get into some news. Okay, so this right here is a little political, but we're not a political channel. I don't really care if you're left, right, middle. I don't care. You know, as long as you're not racist or a bigot, that's all I care about. But anyways, Disney Plus is rebooting. Disney Plus Xmen97 series is rebooting Sunspot. Okay, and it's turning into a political controversy, so to speak. And let me go ahead and touch on that real quick here. So basically, what's happening here is looks like they're not gender swapping him. It looks like they might be race swapping him. Let me see here. Give me one second. Okay, so it says Xmen97 producer Bo DeMaio, no relation to Jack DeMaio, I don't think so, but took to Twitter to address the controversy surrounding one particular casting in the upcoming animated series, replying to a Twitter user accusing Marvel of, quote, whitewashing, end quote, the character of Sunspot in Disney Plus's new animated series and mutant-centric show, Xmen97. DeMaio bluntly said, quote, don't even look who you're talking to. Moving on. So basically, he's taking it with a grain of salt, but he had to go into the, he basically fell into the trolls trap, and he went into the Twitterverse, which in my opinion could sometimes, most of the time, is the toilet of social media. And he fell into this guy's trap. He shouldn't even have addressed it. He should have just moved on. But anyways, the article goes on and says this comes as some fans took issue with the casting of the voice actor Guy Agostini as the Brazilian mutant Sunspot. Despite Agostini also being from Brazil, the actor has a lighter skin tone than his character, which is where the whitewashing comment comes from. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of something here before I finish this. All right, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Brazilians are almost like a potluck of different creeds, races, cultures. You have Portuguese, you have Latin, you have African, which is black, French, and I think there's one more. And this goes way, way, way back. I know this because I've trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time. And a few of my ex-roommates were black belts, brown belts, whatever, were from Brazil, could barely speak English. And, once they, could speak English or whatever, and to the point where we could understand each other, and these guys don't even really know each other. They've all told me the same thing. So I don't know if that whitewash comment is accurate, if we're fact checking it, because it's just it's a hodgepodge of different beautiful creeds, races, and cultures, and for Brazilian people. But let me go ahead and finish, and then we'll get into the spec. So going back to the whitewashing comment, following up on DeMaio's blunt response on Twitter, like I said, he fell into the trolls trap. He shouldn't even, I wouldn't even responded. Another Twitter user pondered why the producer would have such a visceral reaction to what they called, quote, valid criticism, end quote, to which the Marvel showrunner retorted. And then he went on and said, quote, it's not a valid criticism, it's an uninformed one, end quote. I mean, that's kind of what I just said, right? I mean, it is uninformed. I mean, but anyways, another Twitter user went on and said, and this Twitter user is Champagne Puffy, quote, it's unfortunate that this is how you choose to respond. I was looking forward to the show, but your behavior and response to this very valid criticism means I won't be tuning in. I will be sure to my friends that are X-Men fans don't watch either. Okay, so definitely fell into a troll trap. DeMaio will go ahead and responds and says, it's not a valid criticism. It's an uninformed one, and I will defend my decisions and my crew, which includes several POC who have experienced the same hate and hardship that the X-Men do. They are not toys for you to debate, and I will not indulge fans believing that they are entitled to be the arbitrator of someone else's identity and whether or not they are this or that. Enough. It's ignorant and a violation of that individual's personhood, and I will get in your way. Such behavior swaps class of disrespect. DeMaio added, at the proper time, there'll be plenty of insights into what decisions we made and when Marvel gives Sunspot, or, him, the go, he will be very frank and transparent. He went ahead and he continued the tweet and said, at the proper time, there'll be plenty of insights into what decisions we made and why. When Marvel Studios gave me the go, I will be very frank. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. When Marvel gives me the go, I will be very frank and transparent. But now I smell the same scent of enraged engagement that's too common in our culture. And also with X-Men, right? Like I always feel like every time like some kind of X-Men, some kind of mutant like adaptation comes up, there's always this political like firestorm right before and right after. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so he continues and says where we my 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 so he's basically saying the optics spot a single fallen leaf we don't like for some reason and then demand the whole forest be burned down to satisfy our riled up indignation. Save yourself some stress and just wait. You may be just surprised. So he's basically saying, hey, don't burn that bridge before you cross it. He's saying, watch the series and then give me your opinion. That's what I got from it. So it goes on and on and on, and it just basically it's just more trolls and trolls and trolls. Some of the people, I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not valid responses. I mean, to the point where that's kind of like disrespect, and it's kind of like backburning them, or putting them on the back burner. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying kind of what he said. Don't burn that bridge before you cross it. Make sure you watch it first, and and then give your opinion. But like I said, remember, a lot of Brazilian people will, I don't know if they'll tell you this or if they know this, but a lot of Brazilian people that I've come across, they're a beautiful, beautiful culture. They're a mixed race, mixed culture, mixed creed type race. And a lot of beautiful races are equivalent to a Brazilian person. So, I don't know if the whitewash kind of deal is comment is really valid in the sense, but you have to respect people's opinion. Here is Sunspot, and this is the actor that's voicing him right here. His first appearance in the 616 is in this graphic novel, The New Mutants, number 4. This is also your first appearance of The New Mutants. It's kind of funny. Like, shout out to Topher, CBSI Topher. He makes some valid points. Like if we're gonna call this a first appearance, this graphic novel, a first appearance of The New Mutants and Sunspot included, it's a graphic novel. So I mean, a lot of first appearances. Let me wipe this off real quick. A lot of first appearances for Star Wars and some Marvel characters happened in a graphic novel before the floppies came out. I like first appearances in U.S. Marvel Comics floppies. But I mean, if platforms, or I should say influencers, are going to label this as a first appearance, that includes Wiki, fandom, key collector, CBSI, anybody, that is in that kind of, has that influence on key issue comic book collectors and speculators alike. They're going to call this a first appearance of a character. You got to be more accurate. So, I mean, do we go back and start looking at graphic novels and, and also hardcovers that came out before the floppies, and then we relabel them? We relabel those as the first appearance, and then as the floppies, we label them first appearance in Marvel Comics. Interesting. It's an interesting conversation. I mean, most people will take it with a grain of salt and they'll huff and puff because, they have money invested in it. But I mean, it's something you really got to think about. Here is his first appearance in a Marvel floppy. This is also part of the X-Men animation world, not the one we're talking about. It's actually called Adventures of X-Men, I believe. It's called Weapon X, Days of Future, issue number 4 of 5. And Sunspot's first appearance in this animated universe is in this book. All right, let's get into it. So X-Men Adventures number 1. Let me explain real quick what's going on here. So X-Men Adventures number 1. This is the universe and reality of the old cartoon, the music I was just playing you, the intro music. And I think Wiki or fandom, or I don't know if they're the same thing or not, but they probably are. But anyways, they label the reality as Earth TRN 566, I believe. TRN 566 is not really a reality. TRN, and I some of you guys know this, but a lot of you guys are probably wondering. TRN is temporary reality number. So basically, there has not been a designation for that continuity in the comic book. So they basically just label it as this because it's tied into these stories. Okay, so I went ahead and just said Earth 566. Okay, rather than TRN 566. Now, Morph has a vision in this book of Earth 92111, which is all rigmarole to you. I know. I mean, it's probably just convoluted or what have you. But remember, we're doing an animation series. And this particular run, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3, was tied into that Saturday morning cartoon. Almost, I mean, this was the adaptation. Okay, so it was like hand in hand. So these are the characters in that series. We already know their first appearances in the 616 or what have you in Marvel Comics or whatever, but this is the animated series. Okay, and there's actually 3 volumes, but let's go over it and you guys can decide for yourselves if this is something you'll be interested in. So this book is still cheap. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. Don't get me wrong. There are tons of these out there. There's a newsstand, there's direct, but this is X-Men Adventures #1. There's Newsy and direct. First appearance of X-Men Earth 566. Plus, you get the Morph Vision of Earth 92111. You get Jubilee's first appearance, Storm's first appearance, Gambit's first appearance, Rogue first appearance, Cyclops first appearance, Wolverine, James Howlett, Sabretooth, his bro. And you also get Beast, Morph, Professor X. There's also a couple other ones I didn't really bring to the forefront, but yeah, it's a really cool book. I mean, it should be in everybody's collection. You don't even have to go as far as saying speculation and investment. This should be in everybody's collection. So 9.8s are cheap too. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that. I had to fix something. All right, let's get into the next one. This is X-Men Adventures #3. This is volume 1. There are newsies and directs for this. This is your first appearance and cover of Magneto. Sorry, my fan is like pretty cool cover. The Magneto is on the cover, and he has his first appearance in this book of the animated universe Earth 566. And look at the bottom right. What is that called? A overlay or thumbnail, what have you. It says Fox Kids Network. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is X-Men Adventures #5 from volume 1. This is your first appearance of Morlock, Leech, and Lee, Callisto, Sunder, and Slime from this universe. Let's go back to that. Morlock is like beating the crap out of a Storm, like choking her. It's pretty tight. This is pretty cool. This is X-Men Adventures #6. This is from volume 1 as well. There are direct and newsstands available. It's your first appearance of the Inuit tribe. That consists of Kuwak, Puyita, Kooten, and Nobak. And it's a great cover. It is an unbelievable cover. I don't really like how they put the trade up there in red with the shadow. A black outline in the shadow of blue. I didn't really like that, but this is a great cover of it's like your classic cover of Victor Creed and his bro Wolverine fighting Sabretooth and Wolverine. It's pretty tight. Let's go ahead and hit the chat real quick. All right. So basically it says, hey, what's up, Manny? Manny the comic collector. He showed me something so funny today on IG. There is a retailer that is selling a certain book. I'm not even going to say what it was, but in the description it says these are near mint. It's either a retailer or a publisher. I don't remember what he said. He'll say it in the chat. There is these books are near mint, but have like mini spine ticks and a dog ear corner. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he basically described like a mid-grade book. It was hilarious. JLS says Bo DeMaio was in a few fights on Twitter over this. Oh, okay. I trust Jesse. He's very well informed. Brad says, "What's up to Manny?" He says, "What?" Manny says, "What's up back?" JLS says, "I spent a month in Brazil a few years ago. It's an incredibly diverse country." Yes. Wow, we gotta catch up, Jesse. You gotta tell me about that. I've been wanting to go to Brazil for a very long time. That's pretty cool, man. Southpaw Brad says, "I love that book." I think he's talking about X-Men Adventures 1. And then Jesse says, "That's valid. A lot of inconsistencies. Let's clarify that some of the sources claiming that constitutes a first appearance can have varying interpretations. It is crucial for all collectors to reach a consensus. You're correct that. You are correct that, or should I correct that? I don't know what that means, but well said. So okay, let me explain something real quick here. I'll leave this up. I was talking to, and I'm bringing up Topher again. Good guy. We play fantasy football together. He writes for CBSI. Highly recommend going to his articles. He's got a really cool article called True First, where he takes a character and even though a book is labeled by CGC, CBCS, CBSI, Key Collector, Comic Book Collectors Community as a first appearance, he'll go and he'll spend as much time as possible and try to find that character's actual literal term first appearance. So either in a story or in a preview or something, and he gives you guys that information. It's called True First. It's on CBS. It's on comicbookinvest.com. But I was talking to him and we were talking about something. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't really that important, but it was a good conversation. It was a really healthy conversation. I mentioned this on the Hot 10, but he was mentioning first appearance versus cameo. And I responded that there are literal terms to first appearance and there are comic book terms of first appearance. It's like, if you, like in baseball, if you hit a home run, you hit a ball over a fence and you round the bases, it's called a home run. It doesn't mean you're going to run to your house, right? You're not going to run to your home. So there's baseball term and then there's the actual literal term. I actually ran to my house, my home, but and I can call it a home run, but I'm not going to look at it like that if I'm at a baseball game. You see what I'm saying? So what I was saying is that there are first appearance comic terms and there are literal terms. Like Righteous Flipper says, it depends on the person or subject that is interpreting it. A first appearance in full versus a first appearance in cameo are comic book terms. Those are comic book terms that we use. Now they use those terms in other things. They use them in novels, they use them in film or what have you. But in comic book terms, a first appearance in cameo is a brief appearance that you were not expecting. Okay. If it's one or two panels, a first appearance in full to me is a synonym for a first full introduction of a character. So Hulk 180 versus 181. A lot of people argue that whole thing. Okay, it's on the cover. No. What I'm saying is that in 180, we're reading a Hulk book about Hulk and another adversary, and then the very last page, this character shows up and says, "I'm this, that, I'm that." Weren't expecting it. Okay, cameo first. I don't care. I don't know neither of them, so I really don't care. But to me, that's a cameo. Okay. It's a really strong cameo. And you know what? I could even go as far as say that could be like, I see the argument. A first full appearance to me is in 181 because he's fully introduced. He's throughout the book. And it's almost like we don't get an origin, but it's almost close to that. But it's the second appearance as well in literal terms. So in comic book terms, your first appearance in cameo, first appearance in full, to me, brief introduction, brief debut, weren't expecting the character to pop up. And then first appearance in full is a first full introduction of a character in story. I'm not talking about on the cover. I'm talking in story, in continuity. Whatever you guys disagree or agree, I totally respect that. I'm not even going to argue. It's a stupid argument. It's just how you interpret it, like Righteous says, but that's how I look at it. Righteous Flipper says influencers often take a stance on defining a first appearance. However, I suspect that sometimes there might be financial incentive behind labeling a specific appearance as a first appearance. Yeah, I think that's the majority. I think that's the majority of seasoned speculators and influencers. Speculators and collectors alike. That there's some kind of monetary value behind their ambition to prove their point. But that's not always true, because a lot of these spec videos that I do, a lot of these segments I do and stuff, I don't own a lot of these books. And my friends, they get mad at me. They're like, man, you should own these books, because if you go ahead and give them the cornbread and you don't own these books, and once that character is confirmed or whatever at a later time, because I talk about rumors a lot, you better own these books. Well, I don't do that. I like to just do this and talk and chop it up with you guys and just give you guys spec and hear your guys' opinion. So that is partially right, but it's also partially a little bit overboard. Cosmic Gold says, love when you do these spec shows. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, look, I do the card break shows. It's for the card people. If you guys don't like the card stuff, shout out to Ronan K. He gave me a really good tip. He said he loves my shows, but he said at the end when I would break cards, or at the beginning, like sports cards, it would annoy him, in his own words, of course. He said he never really understood why people don't schedule them. I'm scheduling them. So I'm going to put out 1 to 2 sports card breaks, or Pokemon breaks videos a week. And then we'll do 1, maybe 2 live streams a week. Jesse says season 2, issue 4 has a great Omega Red Wolverine cover. One of my favorites of this series. Oh, 100%, brother. 100%. So let me get back to it before I start losing viewers. I'll get back to the chat. I promise, guys. X-Men Adventures number 6. We already went over this. I love this cover as well. Like this cover reminds me what I wanted to add. This cover reminds me of what is that? Uncanny X-Men number 213, and then also Wolverine number 10. That's what it reminds me of. So that's why I like it. X-Men Adventures number 7 from volume 1. There are directed newsies as well. You get your first appearance of Sunfire, Blob, and you get your first cover and in-story appearance. Well, is that first cover? Yeah, it is. Wait, let's check. Yeah, okay. First cover and in-story appearance of Cable, Nathan Summers, in the reality Earth 566. X-Men Adventures number 8 from volume 1. This is a direct and newsstand copies available. It's your first appearance of Warpath and a great solo cover of Cable. X-Men Adventures number 9 from volume 1. This is your first appearance and first cover appearance of Juggernaut. Remember Deadpool 2? Juggernaut. There's also a bunch of other first appearances in the guts of this book. I just didn't list them because I just didn't have that much time. But I like this one a lot. These books are dirt ass cheap, man. You can find these in back issue bins. You can actually go online and to multiple online retailers and find these things for like VF copies are better for like $2. And they're keys. They're key issues. They're minor keys, but once SPEC MEDIA comes out and we figure out what the reality is, if it's Earth 1999, or if it's 566, or if it's 838, or we can go on and on and on. Then you guys can also designate which ones go where. But yeah, this is a great cover. This is X-Men Adventures number 10 from volume 1. Direct and newsies plus 5+ first appearances in this. So you get the first appearance of Moira McTaggart, first appearance of Angel. You also get the first appearance of Mystique, Pyro, Avalanche, and Apocalypse in the animated universe. So That is Earth 566, as we mentioned, and very cool. Very cool cover. Looks like Rogue is choking somebody out. What's that dude's name on the right? I forgot his name. Is it Maverick or is that Cyclops' brother? Looks like it. The blonde, but pretty cool. This is X-Men Adventures number 11 from Volume 1. This is your first appearance of Archangel and Plague. Another great cover. Man, this is such a slept-on series. It's so crazy that these books are so cheap and so available. X-Men Adventures number 12 from Volume 1. Direct and Newsies available. This is your first team appearance of the Horsemen of Apocalypse. That is Archangel, War, Famine, and Plague. That used to be Pestilence. First cover appearance of Archangel as well. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Death. So I guess Archangel turns into death here. Pretty interesting. X-Men Adventures number 13. Direct and Newsies available as well. First appearance of Bishop. Franklin Richards variant as well in this book. Rachel Summers. X-Men Adventures number 14, Direct and Newsies available. This is your first appearance, team appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So I'm giving you guys the goods of what is what. So once the X-Men 97 we get closer, once we get confirmations and stuff like that, you guys are going to know, you know, at least in the, if it, the reason why I put this together, guys, is because when X-Men 97 came out, multiple reports were saying that it was going to tie into this X-Men Adventures. It was like a continuation. JLS will probably remember this. It was going to be a continuation of the Saturday morning cartoons. Now, that was a long time ago. It was like 18 months ago or something. Things change all the time. But if that is still true, then there's got to be some validity to this. Now, remember, this is Earth 566, and you have the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, Mystique, Pyro, Blob, and Avalanche. That's the first team appearance, not their first appearance, first team appearance in this reality. X-Men Adventures number 15, last issue alert. And this is one, besides number 1, and probably, and I think the Magneto one is probably number 3 is probably pretty important. I think this one right here, you guys need to really consider. This is a last issue alert, so it's going to be a lot less copies, high-end copy, or high-grade copies available. But there is an awesome image of Mr. Sinister in here, and Mr. Sinister is being pumped majorly by Marvel Comics right now. We always say, read the tea leaves, right? Read the tea leaves. I really truly believe Mr. Sinister is going to be a key component in the MCU forthwith, animation or live action. His first appearance in the 616, I think, is what? X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 221, I think it is. And I think he does like a cameo in 212. I think so. Maybe 213, I don't remember. But yeah, last issue alert. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm also going to be doing volume 2, like JLS was mentioning, and volume 3. And then I'll also do the tie-ins at a later date. We have a lot of time before X-Men Adventures. So. All right, Miles Morales Spider-Man, key issues and variants. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to go ahead and prepare this for y'all. All right, give me 1. Check. Can you guys hear an echo? Can you guys hear an echo? Tell me if you can. All right. No echo? Okay, good. All right. Let me pull it up. All right. So this is the goods. Here we go. Let me get you a little bit of high definition here. All right, we're going to talk a little bit of Miles here, guys. I know that a lot of you guys have seen the movies or what have you, or seen the new animation movie. Guys, try your best not to. Okay, thank you, guys. No echo now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Try your best not to spoil the movie in the comments. I recognize everybody. Jeffrey Drake is, I recognize him from the Hot 10, but he says, "Hey, Rich, glad to catch the live show for once. Great content. Keep up the awesome work." Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't do these enough, so I get a little bit of rusty. So I like forget to do this and I forget to do that. But once I get my job right now, once I get this stuff cleared up that's going on with my job, I'm going to be able to have I'm going to have time to do these more often. So the flow is very important. I know I suck at that, but I'm going to get better. All right. So do your best not to spoil the show. You can go ahead and give non-spoilers reviews in the chat. I don't care. But let's get into this real quick here. All right. So you guys already heard the news. There is a live action Miles Morales along with a live action Spider-Woman series that is coming. And my dog's going crazy. And here are a few books that I think can do pretty good on the secondary or have some profit margin to be had. Give me 1 second. I'm going to let my dog in. And some of these books are slept on pretty. Hey, what up, Ferdy? Some of these books are slept on, but most of you guys know these books. Let's go over it. Pretty cool. So the news is producer Amy Pascal says Spider-Woman and live action Miles Morales movie are in the works. She went on and quoted and said, "You'll see all of it." She told me Tuesday at the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse premiere in Los Angeles. It's all happening. The CEO, or they call him he's like the Feige of the Sonyverse of Sony. He says, well, the reporter says, was much more cagey about the future. He laughed and said, "If I told you, I have to kill you." So take that the way you want it. But yeah, it sounds like they're pretty excited about it. Of course, you have Ultimate Fallout 4. You have the first appearance of Miles Morales in a Halloween costume doing Spidey things. Here is the Durjevich 1 in 25, which is a monster book now. I've never owned a copy. I probably never will, but love this book. I think this book is still a great play right now, guys. There are a lot less copies of this Mark Bagley cover than there are of the first print, and then the Pacelli with the next one. We're going to see the Pacelli second print variant. I don't know why they call it a second print variant. They should call it a third print. But there's a lot less copies. I think it's like I think Comic-Con has it at 14,600 orders by retailers, but there were reorders. I added up to about 15,000, 15 change or something, because there was reorders of this book and the Pacelli in November and December of that year in 2011 that I caught on Comic-Con that a lot of people miss. There are tons of if you put all these printings, there are tons, but good play on this one. There's let's say under 20,000 or less probably guesstimation in circulation. 9/8 are still really cheap. I love this one as well. But the reason why I like this one the most is because it's very similar to cover A, but we get to see his face for the first time, and I think that's very important. Here you get the up close, the up close version of his face. You see the sweat beating off the side of his head. It's very important to me, but I don't know about you. All right, so here you go. This is a lot of people like this book. And there are tons of copies out there. There are newsstand copies as well. But this is Ultimate Spider-Man, the all-new Spider-Man #1. This is your first solo title and second full appearance of Miles Morales. This is your first appearance of Ultimate Prowler, which you guys know is the uncle of Miles from Earth 1610. You also have the first appearance of Conrad Marcus, who he's just himself, but later in comics, he merges with a sample of the Venom symbiote. And you also get a first appearance of Jefferson and Rio Morales, the parents of Miles Morales in the comics. There's also a white polybag and red Spider-Man with the red Spider-Man emblem on there. We're going to see that in a second. That's the polybag version. Look at Manny says, Richie, there's a listing on eBay of Ultimate Fallout number 4 facsimile variant with 11 bids at $61 and 2 hours to go. Wow, man, what are people thinking? There are tens of thousands of those facsimiles. If you're going to buy a facsimile and you're going to put money behind it, at least I would probably go and buy Wonder World comic Dennis's. I mean, I don't know if he has any left, but on the secondary, I mean, at least it's like the Dirgevic cover, you know? Ferdbird is in. He's saying unmasked. Very super important. What's up, Ferdy? All right. Appreciate that. Ferdy, did I ever give you a wrench? I got to give you a wrench if not. Okay. Ultimate Comics. This is issue number 1. This is actually cover D. And let's see here. I believe this is an incentive variant. Let's go ahead and go over it. I think it's 1 in 15, and it's a Sarah Pacelli. This is one of the Sarah Pacelli's better covers, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, she's not the greatest, but she's quirky, and I think that's very important with Spider-Men, I should say, especially with Miles. And of course, we all know this one. This one's a pretty big book. This is the what is this? The 1, and I think it's a 1 in 30. I think, yeah, it's 1 in 30. It's also a Pacelli. It's another great cover by her. And then this one right here is important because this is also the Sarah Pacelli, but this is a variant sketch cover. If you have this book, then kudos to you. There's only I think there's 5,200 or less copies in circulation. But this book was important. Important in the sense that with scarcity, because Marvel Comics and their retailer resource center, they gave this away to shops that promoted Astonishing X-Men number 51, which was like the marriage of Kyle, Jenadu, and I think North Star, and whoever promoted it the best, or in Marvel Comics eyes, along with Diamond, I guess, they were awarded 5,000 copies, and then it was distributed across the I guess like top 3 or what have you. There was a 9/8 sale for $1,000 of this book about 10 years ago. I haven't seen it on the secondary market since. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. It's really hard to find. Scarcity matters, guys. Supply and demand is a huge thing in commodities and collectibles. A lot of people don't. I see a lot of people at the Hot 10 put in the comments, print run doesn't matter as long as the the want is there, as long as the popularity is there, as long as that's right. It is true. But with commodities and collectibles, supply and demand is probably if not second, it's 1A and 1B, real close to first most important thing. Because, especially with modern comics, when we're talking Silver and Bronze Age comics, not that much. When we're talking Copper Age all the way to here, it's pretty important because there's just tons of copies. And if it's easy to get, what's the point of having, what's the point of paying a large value on the secondary market if you could, that you've seen 3 or 4 copies in the back issue bins at your local LCS. So, all right. So this is Ultimate Comics, the all new Spider-Man number 2. I think this one is very important as well. This is your 3rd appearance of Miles Morales. Your first appearance of Miles' best friend, which you guys know is Genki Lee. There are no variants, but there are late printing editions, which I think are pretty cool looking. I love this one, this white one. I think it was on the almost 10 on Friday. I don't remember, but this one or the red one. And then there's a third print, which is the red one. A lot of people like the red one because it matches Miles like red stripe on the back, but pretty cool. All right, this is Ultimate Comics, the all-new Spider-Man. This is issue number 4. This is your origin of Miles Morales, and in the guts, it explains how and why Miles was operating his Spidey powers in a Halloween costume in Ultimate Fallout 4 for the first time, along with a couple of these issues as well. Origin stories. I don't think there's any variants. Shout out to Batcave, Josh. He brought up a really good debate about this book, but not your first appearance. But it is a really important book. Also, Ninth Wonder is also brought up he had a really good presentation on one of the older episodes of It's Drunken Chat. Really good segment about this particular story. Now, let me explain this to you. So this is Ultimate Comics, all new Spider-Man number 5. What happens in this book? Okay, well, the footnote version is the origin of the Miles black suit. But what really happens in this book is that in the beginning, Miles is doing his Spidey stuff, and Spider-Woman shows up. It's Jessica Drew. It's not, I don't think it's Julia Copper. It could be Julia Copper. I don't remember. And then Nick Cage. But anyways, they show up and they're like, where are you getting these powers? Who the hell, what is that? A Halloween suit? Like, and he's just like, he's in awe who they are, what have you. And then they go and they fight. I think they fight either Doc Ock or the shop. What's his name? Electro. I can't remember which one it was. It's been so long since I read it. And they beat his butt. And Miles was like a prime fighter of those people. I mean, of those superheroes with Nick Cage and Spider-Woman or what have you. So at the end of the book, Miles is at school with Genki and they're talking about her, what have you. And here comes Spider-Woman in her alter ego or human alter ego dress up, not in her Spider-Woman dress up. She has a suitcase, and in that suitcase, she's got this black suit, and she gives it to Miles, and she says, "Hey, this is from Nick Cage or what have you." So the last page, splash page, it has him in the suit. But right before that, if on the flip side of that, you have Genki Lee saying, "You know what this means? That means," and then the splash page, there's a little bubble that says, "That means you're the all-new Spider-Man." So that's the first time he's actually labeled the all-new Spider-Man, which is from the Ultimate Universe, Earth 1610. And he's also in that suit. So a lot of people were saying, oh, well, that would mean that's the first appearance of Miles Morales as Spider-Man. Well, technically, yes, but technically, no. I don't know, because, even though he is wearing in Ultimate Fallout 4, he's wearing a Halloween costume, he's still technically Spider-Man, right? So if I dress up as Spider-Man in a Halloween costume, I have a Spider-Man Halloween costume, right? If I go to a party, everybody's going to call me Spider-Man. But if I have Spidey powers in that Halloween costume, that kind of gives it more validity, right? Well, this is kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like potato, and it depends on how you interpret it, like Righteous Flipper said. But to me, this is a origin of the black suit, and then your first name reveal of the all-new Spider-Man in story. That's how I look at it. All right, so here is our next book. You guys know this one. This is Spider-Man. This is volume 1, guys. And in this is pretty cool. Shout out to Lords of Longbox, TiVo. He brings up a good debate about this. But in the story, you get the first meeting of Peter Parker and Miles Morales, but it's a brief appearance. In my opinion, it's a cameo, because they just kind of look at each other. I don't even think they say anything to each other. Let me hit the chat real quick. Jeffrey says first named appearance. Yeah, so he's talking about this. So going back here, so this is the first time Miles has the black suit, And then it's revealed that he's the all new Spider-Man Earth 1610. A lot of people call it an origin of the black suit, but however you interpret it, that's important to you. It's important to me. All right. Going back to this. So this is kind of like a cameo. And you know who brought this up was TiVo. He's like, yeah, you know, this is kind of like, it's a really brief appearance. So I guess you would call it a cameo with your first meeting of Miles and Peter Parker Spider-Man. Issue 2 is the full appearance, but it's also the first time they battle. But we're going to get into that in a second. This is the, I believe this is the Pachilli. Is it the Pachilli? Let's see. Let's check it out. Oh, no, this is the Ramos 1 in 30. Ramos 1 in 30. Very good. Very good. And then there's also this one. I love this one, but it doesn't have Miles on the front, but it's a great, great cover. It's a 1 in 100 Sarah Pachilli. Oh, it does have Miles. I forgot. He's in the reflection. Okay. Yeah. That's why I liked it. I totally forgot about that. Awesome. That is so cool. And then, of course, you have the second print, which is pretty hard to find. It has them with the hoods on. So remember, guys, the first print, hoods off. Second print, hoods on. Really hard to find. If you find that one with the hoods on, kudos. All right. This is Spider-Man number 2. This is the one that TiVo was talking about. So TiVo, Lords of the Long Box YouTube channel, TiVo. We actually live in the same area. We go to the same LCS, but we have not met in person. We were actually supposed to go to lunch, and I flaked out because of all this work shit. So I apologize. Hopefully one day we'll get to hang out. But anyways, he brought up a great point. In this book, you get the first battle of Peter Parker Spider-Man versus Miles Morales Spider-Man, but you also get your first full meeting. So they actually like talk to each other and stuff like that. And that's pretty important. It's like an introduction. It's a full introduction of them meeting, and then they battle each other. Pretty interesting. This book, I wrote about this book about 3 years ago on my Instagram. If you guys don't know, but I like this book. I mean, I think it's quirky. It's a Marcos Martin 1 in 30. I thought it was an Alan. No, I guess it is a Marcos Martin, huh? Oh, okay. All right. So it's Spider-Man number 2. This is the 1 in 30. This is pretty cool. It's got the banner. It's got them swinging. They're kind of like battling each other. Look at Peter Parker Spider-Man's like kicking him in the face. That's pretty tight. And then you have, of course, the syrup. This one's a pretty big book. It's seen some peaks and valleys. It's on the dip. I think it's on the dip right now, but the Into the Spider-Verse 2 hasn't, or Beyond Across the Spiders hasn't been out long enough for this book to start popping. Everybody's going after UF4 right now, and Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man 1. But anyways, this is a 1 in 100. They're kind of like taking each other's mask off. I think that's pretty dope. This is Cataclysm, The Ultimate's Last Stand. This is issue number 3. Now, this book is very important, okay? And it's got a sick incentive variant. This is the first Miles Morales Spider-Man in the 616. Now, he visits the 616 and goes back to 1610. But this is your first appearance of Miles in the 616. Now, remember, guys, Volume 4 of Miles Morales Spider-Man, he's in the 616. That takes place in the 616, and that's very important. A lot of people don't understand it. The 616 is the prime Marvel comic universe. Continuity. Very important. Here is I think this is a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 30. Manny will probably know. Yeah, I think it's a 1 in 30. It's a Miko Soyan too. There wasn't a lot of Miko Soyan covers during this time, but this is a really sick cover. It's got Miles on the front, and that's what's important. If you can find this book right here, you have first Miles in the guts, 616, in the 616, and you actually have them on the cover as well. Let me go ahead and hit the chat while this beautiful cover's up. Manny goes on and says, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 1 in 50 staple variant is a monster book. I found my copy in the wild for $35. Duh. I'm surprised you paid 35. I'm surprised I mean, this guy finds monster books all the time for dirt cheap. Dude, the guy's the ultimate hunter in Southern California. Shout out to Manny. James Kreider, what's up, man? He says, I've got the Heroes Con variant of this 9.8 by Pacelli. Great cover. Has them face to face. Okay, we're talking about the Spider-Man cover. Very cool. Hey, Wilbert, what's up, man? Spider-Man 1 has a newsstand. Yes. You're right. Southpaw Brad says, love Cataclysm. Manny goes on and says, Cataclysm number 3, 1 in 30 is beyond fire. These guys agree with me. Southpaw Brad says, not a bunch of these for sale on eBay. And I forgot it was a 1 in 30. Yeah, it's like weird. During this whole Miles time, there was like 1 in 15s, 1 in 20s, 1 in 30s. Not like a lot of 1 in 25s. Kind of cool. All right, let's get back into it. All right, guys, this is, I believe this is what, volume 2 of Spider-Man. I believe it is, but anyways, let's get into it. All right, so this is Spider-Man number 1, and this is, so actually it's volume 3. This is the 3rd ongoing title featuring Miles Morales. Okay, so here are some. This book was on the Hot 10 show a few weeks ago. We had it on Buy the Dip. I don't remember if he's in the chat or watching. I wish he would say what's up, but he got a 9.8 of this book for like $30. I mean, that is cool. It's a great cover. Here is the second print with the blue banner and the bottom. I love that. These are tough though. Tough to find, tough and high grade. Shout out to Mr. Longshort, Ben DeShane, good friend of mine, very close friend of mine. Unfortunately, he lives in the Boston area. I live in California, and we don't get to see each other, but we try to talk as much as possible. He's been talking about this book since he was writing on Go Collect a long time ago, and this is Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 1. This is the 1 in 50 Fiona Staples. This is a monster book, man. Raw copies of this book at one point were like almost $2,200. I don't know what it is now, but the way the market's been, if this book's on the dip and you have the money, I would definitely, if it was me and I had the money with the way the market is right now and this thing's on the dip, I would probably consider looking for this book. All right, guys, this is a pretty cool one as well. This is Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 1. This is the 1 in 25. Not, like I said, not a lot of 1 in 25s during that time, but I think it's a pretty cool book. Yeah, good luck. Wilbur says good luck finding Raw. He's talking about this one. I know, but I had to talk about it. I mean, how do you do a Miles spec segment or any kind of segment if you don't bring this up? You got to bring this up, right? I mean, it's a holy grail of modern comics, definitely a variant. So, all right, let's see here. Okay, so this is I believe this is what is this? The 2016. Is this 2016? Let's see. Let me see my notes. Where's it at? All right. So I believe this is the 2016 series. I don't remember, guys. Is it 2006? Yeah, April 2016. So this is the 3rd ongoing series. So this is actually right here. So I made a mistake. My bad. This is actually volume 2. So I was right the first time, but I screwed up on the finish. So this is your volume 2. Here is your 3rd, right? Your 3rd right here. Where is it? This is your 3rd. So this is volume 3, but it's still an early appearance of Miles Morales. 3rd solo title. I know a lot of you go, ho hum, 3rd solo title. Who gives a shit? But I mean, dude, it's like these books are going to start popping, and these books right now, I mean, those big books, I'm talking about UF4, they've already popped. That big variant we're talking about, these things are unreachable, they're unaffordable. And instead of waiting so long for them to dip again, why not go and try to grab one of these early solo titles? A lot of people like this kind of stuff, guys. Especially if you're flipping comics, this book is definitely on the dip. This is the 3rd volume of Spider-Man 1. This is Miles Morales Spider-Man. The Ultimate Spider-Man, I should say. All right. Let's get into this here. Here's your second print. It's kind of similar. It's got the blue trade. I love the blue trade. It's just, I don't know. Man, okay, so a lot of you guys, I've seen a lot of people on Instagram post about this book, talking about like how this is a open to order. Nah, I don't think this was open to order, guys. I think this was a percentile qualifier. But to me, this is one of the better variants of Scotty Young. I think this baby variant's unbelievable. Another term for percentile qualifier is actually, the real term of it is a retailer unlock variant. So you guys know. So what that is if you're not aware, is that for a retailer to qualify for, let's use this variant as example, for a retailer to qualify for this variant, they had to order so many of another variant on another title, or another open to order cover on another title. It was a way that the distributor and the publisher could promote a book that was low ordered. So for instance, I don't know the parameters of what this one was, but it's almost like an incentive. But I'll give you an example. This isn't the book, but I'll give you an example. So to qualify for a retailer unlock variant like this, or what have you, you had to order 25 copies of Captain Marvel number 17 or 16 or whatever it was. And then you could get this book, order as many as you want, or you could order one for one, or what have you. And it kind of created scarcity, because a lot of retailers during this time, they couldn't afford to order some of those other books, because why would they order a bunch of other books if people on their poll is not asking for that book? It's like a waste of money. So they're almost gambling that they're gonna hopefully buy this book. And Miles wasn't really that popular 5, 6, 7 years ago. So all right, guys, this one is a Comics Pro variant. There are 300, according to Comics Pro, there are 300 copies in circulation. I don't know how true that is, but this is a black and white sketch cover art by Sarah Pacelli. Like I said, very quirky, very quirky. Fits very well with Spider-Man and Miles. I think they picked the right artist for her, but some of her stuff is just like, but I like her. Just very quirky. Of course, shout out to Longshort again, man. This book was seriously dirt ass cheap. This is also a percentile qualifier or unlock variant, I believe. This book didn't do anything until Longshort wrote about it on Go Collect. And then all of a sudden, it was like a week later, this book went crazy. And then it was like, it ran right into Miles Mania during the pandemic. This is your hip hop variant. Very cool. Of course, guys, this is a monster right now. This is the Michael Cho 1 in 20. I think this is like 100+ book. I wouldn't say monster, but it's. I wonder what it is now, Manny. Check the secondary, Manny, for me. See what this book's going for. All right, guys. I've talked about this one on Flipside. I talked about it before Flipside. I've been talking about this book for a long time. This is Spider-Man number 12, and this is the Kiss cover A. I wrote about it on my Instagram in either 2019, 2020. This book was like 10, maybe $20 during that time, and this book has been as high as like $120. But I think it's like pretty cheap now. I saw a few online retailers had it for like $30 before the part 2 came out. Don't spoil the part 2. Hey, what's up, Joe? Doc Joe, what up, man? Yeah, love Doc Joe, man. I haven't met him, but but where he comes by the Hot 10, I really appreciate it. He's very, very sharp. Reminds me a lot of Red Hood. Those two are very, very similar. Both really good guys. Thank you for coming by. It means a lot. James Kreider says he loves the Cho 1 in 20. Yeah, Manny's my guy. He likes to. He's really good at checking confirmed sales and stuff. So he'll probably be back in the chat and tell us what it's going for. Jesse says, Ilmatic Homage is pretty sweet too. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's good to know. Mojo Quail, what up, man? I wish I could find this kind of stuff in the wild here. Where are you at, Mojo? Tell me where you're at. There's only like 3 places to find comics within 40 miles of me. I guarantee you these books have never actually been in the area. You must live in a rural, how do you say that? Rural area. Jock Joe says, what's up, brother? What up, brother? Yeah, hell yeah. James Kreider, he collects, I believe he collects foreign books, and he's given us some good info. He says there's also a French variant for this on Panini. I believe he's talking about the Kiss variant. Or the Kiss cover, I should say. It's not a variant. I think it's cover A. Here's the 1 in 25, guys. I mean, this is no secret. But this book is tough. I mean, it's not only tough to find, but it's super tough in high grade. I mean, that black. I mean, good luck. I mean, I found multiple copies of this book on the secondary right before I post. Okay, so I posted about this book because this is the variant, right? The 120. I posted about this book on my IG right before I got on Flip Side. I was on Drunken Chat during that time. I was super new to the whole content stuff, and I wrote about this. And this book right here was about $100, maybe 150. But I didn't see any near mint copies. There was 4 lists. I saw a spine tick on every single one, man. This book is a monster now. It's what, $300, $400, $500. It's ridiculous. And then if you find a high grade copy with no spine ticks, man, please tag me on it. I want to repost that shit because this book is tough in every way, which way or another. And in this one, this is different strokes for different folks. Kind of shitty art, in my opinion. I mean, they look like aliens. But I believe this is the Bob McLeod. This is a 1 in 25 as well. I know, guys. I know. They look fucked up. Their face, they look like tweakers. Like they've been up for like 8 days and haven't eaten for weeks. But yeah. But it's cool. It's quirky. It's Bob McLeod too. So, he's like, is he iconic? I guess he's between classic and iconic. But yeah, you can get this book cheap. There's also another variant, but it doesn't really have anything to do with their kissing. It's a retailer unlocked variant. It's AKA percentile qualifier. It's a David Marquez. I didn't even put it on here because it has nothing really to do with what we're talking about. All right, this is Spider-Man number 2. This was on the show on Friday night. I think this was on the Hot 10. I don't think it was on the Almost 10. I think it was on the Hot 10. But I talked about this book. I've been talking about this book for a while, but a lot of us know this book. This is no secret. This is your first appearance of Evil Miles, aka Miles 616. And then we'll talk about who he becomes later. Spider-Man number 2, volume 2, number 1. This is cover A. This is the second print with the blue. They really like this second print blue stuff during this 2011 to 2017 time with Miles, huh? And Silk and all these Spider people. It's pretty funny. Here is the 1 in 10. I think this book right here, this 1 in 10 right here, I think this thing is fantastic. I think this thing has legs long term. I don't know why it is so cheap still. I know it did see some peaks, but yeah, this is a good one. This is the 1 in 10. This is a monster. This is a Tedesco 1 in 50. This is the book right here. If you can get your hands on this book, this is the book for these guys right here. But remember, in the guts, and by the way, cameo, first full, I don't care what you guys believe. It is a brief appearance of Evil Miles. He's not in any of the story until the last splash page. I think he's like walking his dog or something weird. And it shows the back of his head and then it shows his face at the end. And he's like this prison dude with scars, which we're going to see in a second. Yeah, but if you can find this book, tag me. Oh, man. Michael Turner, man. Whew, geez. But anyways, yeah, this thing's a beaut. This thing's cheap too. I was checking eBay. I don't own one. I wish I did, but man, this is a beaut. This is a beaut. This is a Michael Turner. I think it's a store variant as well. It's probably an Aspen or something like that. Comics Pro or Aspen. All right, here is Spider-Man Volume 2. This is issue number 3. In my opinion, this is a first full introduction, not because he's on the cover, but in the guts, because he's not in issue 2. So if you're looking for Evil Miles, don't even buy issue 2. He's not in issue 2, guys. Just to let you know. I've read the entire series multiple times. He is not in issue 2, but he is in this one, and he's fully introduced. He's with Kingpin, and then he goes on. He's in prison. He's like talking to Kingpin. And then it goes into issue 4 or what have you. And Kingpin's basically just brainwashing him to try to do a hit for him. And he joins this mafia family that's in this universe or what have you. But this is your first cover appearance of Evil Miles, a.k.a. Miles Morales from the 616. This is volume 4 of ongoing of Miles Morales Spider-Man. We're all very familiar with this book. This book is a fun book. It's a 4th volume, 4th ongoing of Miles, but this is Miles Morales Spider-Man number 1, cover A. This book has reached about 80, 90 bucks, but there are a lot of copies of this book, guys. Would not even pay over 25 bucks in this book. I'll be honest with you. There are tons of copies of this issue out there. This right here is the variant, the animation variant for Into the Spider-Verse. I believe this is a 1 in 10. Let me double check. Let's see here. I think it's a 1 in 10. The chat will probably know right away, but of course I have to check my notes because there's just so much shit I can't remember. But yeah, it's a 1 in 10. It's an animation cover depicting a scene from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Pretty fun book, man. I don't own this book, never have. I wish I did. I want it. Really cool. But why is this book so big? And I'm going to show you another book. It's not. And we're going to get to that in a second. Let me hit the chat real quick, guys. Let's see here. Man, chat is fire today. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate this. Manny says low-hanging fruit for easy pickups. Yes, Manny's my guy. Yeah, we talked about that. We said hi to Joe. Okay. French variant. Okay. Wilbert is Nova for the win. There you go. Furber the nurse says I sold this in a 9.8 auto and 9.8 auto. You mean like a signature series? You call the signature series an auto? I like that. Cards. Wilbert says that auto was badass. The Isanova for 2K bought for 400. Are you serious, Ferdy? I didn't know that. The 1 in 25 for Spider-Man 12, huh? Nice, dude. Nice. I never knew that, bro. Kudos. Bojo Quiz says, I think you ate it. You ate it, Ben. If you ever do this upside down kiss in either animated or live action, the value of this book is definitely going to be influenced. 100%, bro. 100%. Weber goes on and said, I never risk getting it signed. Yeah, I mean, Brian, shout out to Brian McClay, Beyond Wednesdays YouTube channel. That's my boy. That's my brother. He's my younger, bigger brother. He makes perfect sense. Along with Ben, shout out to House of Stein. They both made perfect sense in the Hot 10. Why would you take a beautiful grail and get it ruined? You know what I mean? I would take something like, so for instance, Todd McFarlane's going to be at, I've never had a Todd McFarlane auto, but if I was going to get a Todd McFarlane signature on a book, I would want him to sketch something for me, like do a remark, sketch it, or what have you. I think a perfect book for that would be ASM 301. It is a key, but it's not really a grail, you know, and it's got a beautiful cover for all that stuff. I wouldn't do it on an ASM 300. And I probably wouldn't do it on 298 to 299. That's just my opinion. Mojo Quiz says he's in Alabama, about an hour drive from Atlanta. Okay. Dirty, the dirty South. Southpaw Brad says, hate to shit on Bob McCloud. Just say no, not his best. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's quirky. It's fun. But they look alienish, man. Sometimes I feel like the only comic collector in the area, but every now and then I check the thrift shop and something I was planning to buy is gone. So I'm guessing there's one more in town. Okay. See, one more collector he's talking about. JLS Jesse says, yeah, Bob is great. They can't all be home runs though. 100%. Momoko, Peach Momoko. I mean, she's good. Her older stuff is great, but didn't she sign that freaking contract with Marvel? And shit's just started slipping. But I mean, that's probably not a good comparison because McCloud is like classic. Momoko is like It's just kind of watered down. Kreider says there's also a rare Marvel Unlimited subscription variant for this one, but it has Thanos in the cover. I don't know which one. When you guys say this one's, just say the title in there, because like I said, I'm a little slow getting to the chat, so we can get a bird's eye view for what you're talking about. But I'm guessing it's probably one of the last books we're talked about. Southpaw Brad says Axe Ackley. Furbird says I got to roll rich, but I'll watch the rest later. Okay, thank you, brother. Hey, congratulations. Ferdy just got married. Good luck to you and the Furred the Mrs. Furred the nerd. He says it's a really good episode, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it needs a little work. I'm a little rusty, but this is fun. I wanted to do a long show with you guys because I've been doing a lot of card stuff and putting all my comic snobs through torture and going, God, I'm subscribing to this guy and all he puts up is card stuff. So I wanted to make sure I get my comic stuff in there for you guys. Wilbert, thank you. He says, now a 301 newsstand 98. No way the Todd father's getting his meat hooks on that book. I hear you, brother. I hear you. But I ain't cracking a 9.8. I was actually thinking about doing a video because I'm doing pressing and cleaning and pressing tutorials. I have some content that I'm about to upload. I was thinking about pressing a 9.8, cracking a 9.8, CPRing it, and sending it to CGC if we can get a 9.9. So stupid, I know. But it sounds fun. I don't know. Who cares? Probably not of that book, obviously, but some kind of cheap book. All right, guys, let's get back into it, and then I'll let you guys go. I know you guys have a lot of stuff to do. This is the 1 in 50 league Garbett. You guys know this one. This is a fun one. This is a tough book to find. I'm surprised that I can't find this book with how many copies were ordered on that issue 1. I think it was like 90,000 Comic-Con has or something like that. Something ridiculous. I believe this is the second print. Pretty cool cover. Pretty cool. A lot of the second prints in this run kind of look alike, though. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like his webbing kind of like looks like kind of like barbed wire in a lot of these second prints. All right, this one's cool. This is the third printing. There's a Comic-Con is saying there's only like 42 or 4,300 copies. Not the best art. It looks like interior art as well. Who is that baby he's holding right there? You guys, let me know. Let me know. I have not read this book. I've read a lot of books in this volume. I've not read number 1. All right. This book right here, shout out to Long Short. He wrote about this book as well. This is the art is unbelievable. Rhino kicking the shit out of Miles. But this is the 4th print. And there's not that many copies. This book saw almost $200 at one point during Miles Mania, but you can probably get this book on the secondary for like, I don't know, between $25 to $50 in high grade. Mojo, I'm not doing it right now. I'm just doing content. I have to get my license out of the way. I have like 80 books from maybe like 90, maybe close to 90 books from 3 different people here that have been here for almost a year that they haven't picked them up. They haven't, they understand what's going on with me. I told them ahead of time. I have to get my work stuff done because I have these dates that I have to get licensed by in these certain states, or it starts over and my company that I work for, they lose all the money that it cost to get me licensed. So I have to get that done first. I'm trying to build the channel because if the licensing doesn't if it doesn't go through, then at least I have something to fall back on. Not to make money, but will make me happy kind of deal. If I don't get licensed, I'm probably just going to go work at a savings and loan or FDIC like Ferdy and slang loan or sell loans there, because you don't really need to be licensed. You just need to pass the test and have all the education. So, but once I do, I promise, make sure you're following me on IG. I promise I'll put a post out and I'll let you know. And all my people, I always do the first book free. Always the first book is free on every submission. Joe says he loves this book. Wow, dude, coming from Doc Joe, if he says he loves this book, you guys better freaking buy this book. This guy is picky as hell, dude. Hell yeah. I love it. Love that comment. Okay, the baby is his sister. Are you sure about that? Because I thought that her first appearance was in 13 as a baby, her first cover and first appearance. That's why I was asking, who's that baby? Because she doesn't show up till 13, right? Nikki's new. All right, Comics Addiction. Hey man, what's up? Thank you for joining. I appreciate that. Joe, I've been originating loans, mortgage loans for almost 15 years, and then I took about just under a decade off, and then but now, you know, I got my life straightened out. I was a mess for about 8 years. Got my life straightened out, and going back to work. So I started in November, and once I saw they started me out at just above minimum wage, like $16 an hour. Once I saw what I was doing, I was like, I can't do this. And one of my best friends who I grew up with is my manager, and he's like, well, just figure it out and get licensed. So I'm just getting licensed so I can go back into the office. No more. So I'm working remote right now. All right. So let's get back into this, and I'll hit the chat. Okay. Shout out to Manny, the comic collector. I believe he posted about this book recently on Ben C, Comic Book Invest guy, the guy that owns CBSI. But this is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 2. This is the 1 in 25. I think it's a Sakai. I'm pretty sure it is, but if Manny's in the chat, he'll go ahead and help us out with this one. But I love this book. Yeah, it's it's a Sona Takata, and this cover is so hard to find, and it goes great. It goes unbelievable with this cover right here, because Rhino's kicking his ass right here on the cover, and then boom, rear naked choke, neck crank. Miles went through the back door from the guard, got the neck crank, and now he's trying to sink in the rear naked choke. I love it. It's a great cover. It's got the Stan Lee tribute banner. It's a great cover. Man, if you can find this for ratio below, kudos. You guys all know this one. It's been on the Hot 10 multiple times, but this is Miles Morales Spider-Man number 3. This is the 1 in 10 movie variant. This is probably the best movie variant that there is, or at least top 3 in my opinion. Okay, this is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 5, guys. This is cover A. We're going to talk about this character for a minute. This is your first appearance of Starling Vulture in cameo, guys. In cameo. She makes, I think it's like a last page splash. Sona Takata. Yeah. I don't know why I said Takai, but yeah. Sona Takata. Yes. That's he's talking about this one, guys. He's talking about this one right here. Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah. So this is Starling Vulture. Adrian Toombs' granddaughter. What's her real name? Tiessa Toombs or something? Oh, Jesse will know. But yeah, this is an important book, and this is dirt. It's not dirt cheap, but I think it's undervalued in my opinion. As your first appearance of Starling Vulture in cameo. Pretty cool. There's also some other stuff going on as well, but interesting. Right here is the very cool second print by Javi Guerin. It's interior art. And remember what I told you guys earlier about how all the late printing, or at least a lot of the late printings in this volume, that the webbing looks like barbed wire. Doesn't it? It kind of does. Like it kind of like very similar. It's kind of interesting. Here is a monster. Shout out to Sniff Comics. Shout out to Santos. I was in Fax during this time with Springman and those guys, and Santos brought this to the forefront. Thank you for that. By the way, that was a long time ago, 2019. I think it was like summer of 2019. It was like maybe a month after New Agents of Atlas 1 came out. Jesse was in that group at that time. Jesse JLS as well. Yeah, Santos gave us this book, so we all pre-ordered. But this is your first cover appearance and first appearance of Starling Vulture in full. Very cool. I believe Comicron has like 32K, 30K, 33K. I always pad it by like 3 to 5K. So let's say 40K or under in circulation. You never can go by Comicron. I never understood why people will go by. Well, Comicron says there's 33,461. Well, actually, there's not, because they always have they always print for damages and so on and so forth. So I always pad it by like 3,000 to 5,000. But yeah, this book is like in 9/8 right now. I have a 198 of this, and I was going to post it on eBay. This is on Tuesday, so before all the early premieres of Miles Morales Spider-Man. And I was like, I didn't think she was going to show up or anything like that, but I thought, hey, maybe if I post this now for like, 150 or something like that, maybe by the time the movie comes out, it'll pop or whatever. So I'm posting it, and right before I'm setting the price, fill out the whole thing, and it's a buy now best bin or BO, buy now best offer. I go and look at the completed confirmed sales, and then I've seen sales for like 75, 80 bucks. I see listings for like 75 or best offer. I said, no way. And I pulled that shit. I said, no way. So you can get this book pretty cheap. I don't know, with the movie dropping, maybe it might have seen a bump. I haven't seen. I'm not sure, but check it, because this book did not drop below 120, and it was basically selling for between $150 to $199. But you get a first full appearance of her in there. There's also a really cool Battle Lines variant, which I like a lot. It's got a really sick version of Mysterio. And I think this is a really undervalued book. She's not on the cover, but you get a full appearance of her in the guts, which is very important to all of us. And our first full introduction. And on top of that, there's probably not a lot of these out there. I mean, I don't know. They were open to order. But you get a virgin, beautiful cover of Mysterio. And a lot of people don't talk about it. It's a Yoon Lee variant. So just to let you know, this is available, and it should be dirt cheap. All right, this is we're going to start getting into villains now. So this is Miles Morales Spider-Man number 7. Cover A, first appearance of Quantum. Now, Quantum is the next guy we're going to talk about. The Assessor. You guys know the Assessor. That's his henchman. It's kind of like his merc, right? It's like this AI kind of character that actually has tangible physical features and can actually become physical and appear physical and, kidnap people and beat people up and stuff like that. But he's very important. I think he could show up. He's very cool, especially if Assessor shows up. If Assessor shows up one day in the adaptation, animation, or live action, you got to have this book. And I'm going to explain. This is the second print, guys. So I'm going to explain this here. This might be the first time you hear this, but if you've been following me for a while or you're friends with me, this is probably the 10th time you're going to roll your eyes. But look at this. Okay. That second print right there. Okay. If you look on the side, all right, it looks like Miles is in a mirror. Okay. Looks like Miles in a mirror. But on the other side, you get a first, almost like a glimpse of what the Assessor's doing. And he's building the clone, the first clone of Miles. And that character shows up in, I think, in 17 or 18 of this volume. But yeah, if you guys own this book, look at it close. You'll notice on one side, the mirror completely is identical to what Miles is doing. But on the other side, it's not. So very interesting. Kind of like, how Silk in ASM1, you like shows her foot. I don't know. I just think it's cool. It's interesting. All right. This is a great cover. And the second print is even better. This is your first appearance of the Assessor, who is not a ghoul. He's also kind of like an AI type character that's in tangible physical form. But I think this live action Assessor has wheels. I think he could be in play for live action. I think the MCU and Sonyverse, or vice versa, whoever's doing the movie, they got to stop using Rhino and the Sinister Six as these same villains for these spider people. They got to stop doing it. We want to see the inheritors for Peter Parker and Spider-Punk and all these people that are these spider characters, these Silk and Spider-Man 29. I mean, we want to see the inheritors. Okay. We want to see Soul. We want to see these people. Okay. We also want to see these characters that are in Miles' life. We don't want to see Miles. I wouldn't mind Miles fighting Rhino. That would be awesome. But I don't want to see Miles fighting all these same characters that are just consistently round and round in these variants of characters. I want to see new villains. And this is one I think could be in play. This is your first appearance of the Assessor. That's the Quantum from this issue. That is his kind of like his, I don't know, his boss or what have you. This is that mean second print. Tough to find, tough and high grade, all black cover. Second print, first appearance. And yeah, he's really cool. Did you guys know that there was an anniversary cover for Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 9? A lot of people don't, but there is. It's an anniversary frame cover. I believe it's the 80th anniversary. Pretty cool. This, to me, this book is the most important book in the entire run. This guy better show up. If he doesn't show up in live action or in one day in animation, I'm going to be so upset. But this is Miles Morales Spider-Man number 10. This is cover A, okay? This is your first appearance of Evil Miles, aka Miles 616, as Ultimatum, okay? What I like about cover A is this, 2 things. A, you have also the reintroduction, or your, I guess you could say the new version, the first appearance of the new version, but we'll say reintroduction. I don't want to get anybody confused, of the Ultimate Green Goblin. He's like kind of like a just redesign kind of deal. But look, a lot of people don't notice in the background. That is Ultimatum in the background. He's on the cover of cover A. First appearance of Evil Miles as Ultimatum. Now, remember, in this arc, if you haven't read it, or if you have read it and you have forgot, Assessor, Quantum, and an Ultimatum, they're all working together to make these clones and go after Miles and his family. But the person that's behind it all, we think is the Assessor and Quantum, is actually Evil Miles. Okay? Ultimatum. Here is I believe this is the second print, and there's that webbing that looks like barbed wire again. So weird. This is the 1 in 25 with Starling Vulture on the front as well. Full transparency, I own this book. It's not listed or anything, but I try not to list book when I do book content and live streams. If I know I'm going to talk about the book, I try to take it down for my eBay. That's just how I roll. But Humberto Ramos did this cover. I really like it a lot. It's really cool. And then, of course, you have the 1 in 50 McGinnis. It has the Ultimate Green Goblin. It's too bad that Ultimatum's not on the cover, because I really like this cover. But this book's really popular. It's sought after. Here is, I had to put this on there. Baby Spec is for the birds, guys. Come on. Come on. I mean, are we really going after Baby Spec? But here we go. This is your first appearance of Billy Morales, sister of Miles Morales as a baby. But hey, you know what? If that's what you go after, that's what you go after, guys. That's what you go after. I'm not going to rip that. I'm just saying that where's the precedent of Baby Spec in Marvel Comics that has actually gained value and kept that value through the highs and lows? Not a lot. I mean, even the baby Nathan Summers, I mean, that's like a cheap book. But this is the second print. You actually get it on the cover. There's multiple people say this is the first cover appearance of Billy Morales, but we just saw a baby on issue number 1 for the fourth print, whatever it was. Is that Billy Morales? I don't know. That's the first time I noticed it. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. This is the Raza, man. This thing is sick. This is the 2020 variant. This is when they were doing the Iron Man 2020, I believe. This is in, what was it, like Thanksgiving time of 2019. But I love this Iron Man 2020 variant. I don't really like when Marvel Comics does these theme or event variants, but this one is a good one. I think this one is a must-have. All right. Okay, so this is Miles Morales 17, guys. This is your first appearance of the first Miles clone in Cameo. It's a last page and a half kind of deal. He's in multiple panels. He's kind of introducing himself. This is issue 17. It's an outlawed tie-in as well. This is issue 18. This is the first appearance in full of the first Miles Morales clone. This is the second print. It's not the first cover. That's the clone fighting Miles. That's not Miles. That's the clone actually on top. It's not the first cover though. It's actually came out after 19, but pretty cool. Great book. Nobody talks about it. I mean, this is your first clone appearance. It's not the clone during the clone arc, but this is the first time you get the clone of Miles. This is the clone that Assessor and Quantum created for Ultimatum to go after Miles. And then this happened. Oh, not that. This is the Raza variant. This thing's sick. And that is a great cover of a baby. Now, that is a cool cover right there. This is the one per store. This is Ron Lim. Ron Lim is, to some people, is a treasure, but I think that's just dog shit art. But it's a one per store, though, and it's, it's all the champions or outlaws or whatever on the cover. It's a 80th anniversary cover. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so here is the first cover appearance of the clone, 19, Miles Morales 19. Okay, so this is the 1 in 10 for, I believe it's 19. I believe it's 19, but I like this book a lot. It's really nice. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. It gives me like a nostalgia feel of Into the Spider-Verse #1. I don't know. Like I said, different strokes for different folks. Let's see here. This thing right here is very undervalued. It saw a couple bumps. Got a couple bumps. I mean, at one point it was like $15, but it should be like $4 or $5. Remember when King in Black was being pumped by Marvel? Well, they did that King in Black theme variants. I thought this was the best one. This is Miles Morales and Null symbiote on a cover. I mean, that's pretty sick, dude. That is a nice cover. All right, this is Miles Morales issue number 24, guys. Now, this is the first cameo appearance, our first appearance in cameo of Selim. Selim is the clone of Miles Morales, the official clone who actually becomes like his BFF or whatever, his brother or what have you. And the first issue of the Clone Saga. Issue 25 is the first appearance of Selim, the clone, in full. And this goes back to what I was saying in 18. Because of 17 and 18 in this run, and then also 19, 17, 18, 19, this arc was created. There was an article by Bleeding Cool before this came out by Saladin Ahmed. And it was like right after Miles Morales Spider-Man 21 came out. And it was like the popularity and all the nice things I'm hearing about the clone, 17, 18, and 19, talking about the small arc. We're going to come up with this. We're going to do a Clone Saga arc. And 24 is the first book of it. 25 is the second book of it. And what's cool about this as well is you get your first appearance in cameo of Shift and Mind Spinner, the other clones of Miles Morales. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think this book's dirt cheap. This is the Dan Hip variant. This is kind of like it kind of reminds me of like Scotty Young, but it kind of reminds me of a manga variant, right? I mean, it's like Miles Morales in the manga universe. Really cool though. I think it's like a 1 in 50 too. It's pretty high ratio. Yeah, it's a Dan Hip 1 in 50. Yeah. So I think the last sale I saw it was like $16 or whatever. But I know online retailers like Midtown or whatever, they were selling it for like $40 or something. Pretty cool. I like it a lot. I don't own it, but I want to own it. All right, this is Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is issue number 26. This you get 2 first full appearances of the other 2 clones. You have Shift and Mind Spinner. This is the Rose Besh open to order variant for Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 27. You actually get the backstory of the 3 clones, the new clones, aka Origin. course, you guys know I wrote about this one on my IG. I think I wrote a couple posts, and then I talked about it on Flip Side. But this is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 28, and this is the 80th anniversary Captain America variant. It has Miles Morales for the first time in the Captain America uniform. Now, I know in 2014, 15, 16, whatever, he picks up the shield, but you guys got to read the story. Got to read the story. Okay. If you didn't read the story, he's not trying to be no Captain America. He's just basically about to hand it off to, I think he hands it off to Peter Parker because he's going to Venom Blast and he doesn't want him to get hurt or something like that. But this is your first time he's actually wearing that Captain America uniform. Now, the reason why I liked this book, and this book saw some highs. I mean, this book was like $30 at one time. But the reason why I like this book is when the concept art came out for what if Miles Morales was Captain America, the concept art for the 1 in 200 variant, they used this exact cover, this exact sketch. That's why I thought they were connected, and I thought it was cool. So, but you can get this book for like cover price. Okay, this is Miles Morales Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 30 from volume 4. This is from the summer of 2021. This is your first cover appearance of Miles Morales Spider-Man in his new costume that he first appears in issue number 29 in the guts. This is actually on the cover. I don't know, some people like it, some people don't. I don't really care. I think they're all good. This is issue number 31. This is the Sway variant. I think there's a 1 in 25. This is the one I love, man. I think this book is so undervalued. You should be able to get this thing below ratio. I believe it's a 1 in 10 as well. ASM 53. This has Miles. This is an incentive. And there's that iconic Miles bob wire for webbing. So going back to what I was saying earlier in the live stream, of that Ultimate Comics, or what was that 1 in 25? Is it a 1 in 25 where Miles is between the cars and it's got the animation verse? And I was saying that book is like $2,000. Why is this book not moving? Like, I don't understand. Like, I was saying on the Hot 10 too, like, that book is so sick, man. I love it. He's got that. You got the Spider-Verse animation in the background. He's got his new costume. He's got his J's on, right? And he's like doing a backflip. I think this is a great cover. I mean, there hadn't been a sale since April when I checked on Friday, and I think this book was like $17. I mean, we were actually talking about putting it on Buy the Dip because this book at one time was like $60. We had it on the Hot 10 I think we had it 2 weeks in a row a couple years ago. So yeah, interesting. Let's go ahead before we finish out and let's hit the chat because I'm almost done here. There's so many comments. I love you guys. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. AOA, what up, man? What up, AOA? So okay, I gotta make AOA, or no, I made AOA. I gave him a wrench. JLS, I give you a wrench. Bruce, I need to give you a wrench. Manny's got a wrench. And then let's see here. Brad got a wrench. And I think Mojo and Wilbur. Let me know if I told you were getting a wrench, you're getting one. I swear. It's just let me know. And if your wrench is gone by accident, that means I was putting a wrench in and I must not have hit the save on YouTube on the back end. Manny, the comic collector, says Miles number 18, second print, such a beautiful color. Cover, highly such a beautiful cover, highly undervalued. Yeah, I 100% agree with you, bro. Ron Lim and Vidar. Oh yeah, AOA. I knew he'd pop up right when I started talking about Lim. Motherfucker. Mojo quit. Oh hey, a book I actually have. Hey, there you go. Mojo, hey man, why don't you hit me up on Instagram? I'll send you some Miles books, bro. AOA, yay, book I have, yay. Okay, yeah. So there's just so many comments, guys. I appreciate you. Let's get back into it. I want to let you guys enjoy your Sunday. I don't want to take it all from your family and your girlfriends and boyfriends and what have you. This is another one I like a lot. This is from the Gamerverse reality universe. Miles Morales Spider-Man PlayStation. I think this is the PlayStation 4 game. I actually have the PlayStation 5 game. I like it a lot. I think it's really good. And I think that's Prowler. That one's cool. I think this is a 1 in 10. Could be a 1 in 25, but I think it's a 1 in 10. Pretty cool. All right, so we're going to finish this live stream off and talk about some family members to consider if we're talking live action. I mean, guys, remember, if they're going to do live action, they're just, I mean, in my opinion, if they're just going to go ahead and take as good as Into the Spider-Verse, and then I haven't seen Beyond the Spider-Verse, but I'm going to soon, but as good as I'm hearing it, it doesn't make sense. You should leave that as it is. You need to do a live action. Sure, you can spin it off that, but don't make it exactly like that. And if they don't, and they make it like a origin story similar to the comics, but you know how the Sonyverse and the MCU do, they do their own original. You're gonna have to bring up some family members, some villains, some you know, friends, foes, allies of the comics in their own interpretation. This could be one of them. This is Billy Morales. This is as a grown-up. Now, it's not the same baby, supposedly, because you have the 616 right there. Now, remember, in Volume 4, he's actually in the 616, not in the 1610 anymore. He's actually in Earth 616, so not to be confused. Remember, in Cataclysm, number 3, Last Stand, he visits the 616, but goes back to the 1610. And then I think it's at the end of Spider-Man Volume 3, he gets trapped in the 616. And then Volume 4, he's in the 616. So all these characters are in the 616. The baby of Billy Morales is in the 616. This is Billy Morales, but in a different reality. So it's a variant so far of what we know. I mean, it could be the same. Who knows? But right now, it's a different reality. Okay, so it's your first appearance of Billy Morales as Spider Smasher in a different reality, aka continuity, aka universe. Miles Morales Clone Selim is the emperor of this universe as well. Just to let you know. This is the 1 in 50. This thing was very hot at one point and then just saw a huge dip. But I mean, there's probably a lot of them out there. Not a ton, but there's a lot. I mean, this book pre-FOC, shout out to Economics and Comics. He caught it. I think he might have been one of the first that caught it. But this cover wasn't showing on the new to order for Penguin Random House. So that's like, what, 6 to 8, maybe 10 weeks before FOC. But once FOC, the week of FOC, this cover was showing. And this is a Scan cover. Scan's one of my favorite modern comic artists. I think she is also like on a design variant for the 1 in 10 as well. But if you're going to spec on this character, you got to have the 1 in 50. And not a bad idea to have a couple copies of this in your back issue bin and see what happens in the future with this live action stuff and, you know, beyond. Shout out to Brian McClay. He loves this book. This is Spider-Gwen. This is number 16. And I believe this is the 1 in 50 or 1 in 25. It's in a high ratio incentive. Not a lot of play on this one, but this is a really cool cover. I really like this. It ties into the whole, you know, love story of those two. This is Spider-Geddon number 2. I love this is the 1 in 25. I believe it's a Sarah Pachilli, and I love this cover. It's got Spider-Gwen with the two watches, and then it's got Miles, it's got Spider-Punk, it's got Peter Porker. It's got Mayday. Yeah, it's a tough book too. See the black on the cover. I just pressed one like 6 months ago for my friend Armin, who has his books here, by the way. I pressed it like 8 times, man. It's a tough book. It's a tough book, but try to find one with no color breaking spine ticks. I talked about this one on Flipside and on Brian's channel Beyond Wednesdays. Brian and I both heavily ordered this one. I'm just going to let you guys know for full transparency. This is Iron Man number 12. This is the Bruce Lee DJ homage. And what I said on Brian's show is, man, if we saw Miles in Beyond the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse or in live action, do any kind of DJ stuff at all, this thing is going to go nuclear. So it's probably pretty good to have one in 9.8, and I think they're about $40 on the secondary. This is your first appearance of Rainim, who later becomes Rabble. This is the volume 5 of Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is the Momoko. I think it's what is it? A 1 in 200? Let me double check. Manny's here. He probably know, but it's a high ratio incentive. Let me see. Let me pull it up. It is a 1 in 200. Yes. So you always hear, like, you'll hear me and Brian always go, bad Momoko, or we'll say good Momoko. Yeah, I think this is good Momoko. What's up, Funhouse? What's up, man? Okay, I'm glad you made it too. I thought Brian only likes the Weed Magic series. Yeah, no, Brian's actually, believe it or not, Brian's actually one of the smartest people I have met to date. He is very sharp. He knows a lot about comics. He's very good at DC comics. Knows a lot about comic book history. So, yeah, and he knows a shit ton about sports too. So me and him get along really well. Sometimes we have our differences, you know, but we make up pretty quick. But yeah, Brian, I have a lot of respect for Brian. Dude is, yeah, he gets stoned a lot, but dude is sharp as a tack. Let's go. This is the John Boy Myers. I don't remember if we've ever had this on the Hot 10 or not, but this is for issue 2 of this volume. And this is actually, let me take this off. This is actually when what's her name? Ranim becomes Rabble, and you get the full appearance of the female villain who wields this advanced tech. And on this cover, you actually see a little bit of action. You see her like in full form. She's like choking out Starling Vulture. And you have Miles in the background to the rescue. Like, I'm going to sink my naked choke on you. I love it, man. I think it's awesome. I ordered this on FOC and paid half up front, and the retailer never sends it to me. He gave me a refund, but he never sends it to me. So, John Boy Myers. That's it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for your support. I have to right now edit a video, card breaking video. I got some Monopoly prisms and I got some Bowman and stuff. So I'm just going to take it easy. Tomorrow I have to go to LA. I'm going to go to Melrose and I have to go get fingerprinted for my mortgage license in New Jersey so they could do a background check on me. And I'm going to be, my appointment is at 1 o'clock. I'll probably be there at 12:30. And then I'm going to hit up Golden Apple. So if any of you guys are in the LA area and you guys are, you guys want to hang out tomorrow, get lunch, go dig in, hit me up on IG. I'll give you my number and let's do it. I love Golden Apple Comics. They have really good back issues for dirt ass cheap. Much better than the online. So I'm going to check them out and probably check out a couple other ones. But anyways, thank you guys. Thank you guys. My Manny owns 90% and it pleases him. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the thumbs up, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody in my life that has taught me everything about speculation. If we get along or not to this date, I really appreciate you and I care about you. So, I thank you because this has been a turning point in my life, the comic community and the content creating. It's completely changed my life and I'm very happy to do it. And I'm grateful to Ben and Brian for allowing me to become a prominent and resident member of the Hot 10. So thank you guys. Take care, everyone. Happy Sunday fun day. Don't get into trouble. If you're in LA tomorrow, I will be done with my appointment by 2 p.m. Pacific. Hit me up on IG. Love y'all.